I can definitely introduce myself. Me and just interviewed. What's it? Probably been 4 months now, maybe five. And we initially interviewed twice, and we talked about a lot of these topics, dealing with Thomas and dealing with the trademark, and trying to help bring some discernment to the cicada correlation of the older group with this newer group that really started after 2015 going into 2016. And so that was our main, that was our main in those interviews. And I think we got the information out pretty well. Since then, I've done some more interviews with some authors and some writers. So so have you. Um, and I think that these two that we were partaking in is definitely, there's a lot more public awareness and a lot more public information that's being released now to the public that people are able to go and review for themselves and look over. And I think that in general, the past 5 months we've done a pretty good job with countering that this all this disinformation.
Yeah, totally. I mean, just the amount of people that are aware of what's going on, and just you know, I was thinking about the not talking against him, but just and the point. I don't even know if maybe if he's already getting him to a lawsuit or anything, but they're at the brink. And all the other channels that have been either debunked or mysteriously just kind of banished away. But what do you thought about what we talk regarding Ian Murdock?
Yeah, that was really interesting because if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think that I might be the first person to really have gone on record and really spoke about that situation. And it's kind of weird that after I come out and speak about that in the interviews with you, and then I speak about it with interviews with actual authors and other people, um, the individuals now that are speaking on it, I found that to be quite interesting.
Yeah, actually, those videos from Terry's Renfro and Titus were from some time ago, and like I said, it's suspicious that why would he be interested in pushing blame towards the Napa police? Also, what happened? I mean, to Ian was it is suspicious. More by the way that he doesn't fit in the profile too much of suicide.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I have to agree with you. And then not just that. If you look at the tweet that was sent out by him right before he passed, he said he had a lot to share. He didn't want to die. I mean, that was his last tweet. So I mean, to tweet something like that, and then to hear that kind of news, they just don't correlate. That
Yeah,
there's no connection right there. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's the complete opposites from one another, so. And then, not to mention, I had spoke to him months before that, and I didn't hear any distress in he was talking about, or in his tone, or that he had thoughts of something, of hurting himself, thoughts of everything coming to an end. So I mean, for me, I was completely caught off guard, along with a lot of other individuals outside of the Cicada organization, just people that knew him from a professional occupational standard. I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't see something like this happening to him.
do you know if he was in other kind of stuff like calling out that was the excuse that Thomas gave, that he was calling out somebody within the Napa Police Department.
I mean, I never spoke to him about any of the legal goings on that he might have had or
Oh,
anything
okay.
like that. The times that we spoke was, was years back going to IRC, and then during the creation of the puzzles, that were released, following, 2012, 2013, and 2014. And then me and him spoke again in 2015 a couple of times, and that's when I released that side puzzle called The Message.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on that year, in December, like I said, he sent a tweet out. And then right before the end of the year, going into 2016, everybody found out publicly that he was no longer here. And then that he had took his own life. That just don't add up.
Yeah, also the way that he went, it was like he was found naked with a piano string strap around his neck. It's a at least you, like, what would be the event, the chain of events that would end him up like that, with so little to not, just without clothes. It doesn't make, it's weird. And I think that, how do you think exactly, how do you think, or that Thomas got to know that Ian as being the creator of Cicada? Is it throughout the IRCs or something?
Very could have very well through the IRCs, or also I mean, was a Hollywood guy. I mean, we people seem to forget that. Like, Thomas at one time had a lot of connections and was a shaker out there, man. And he ruined a lot of opportunities because he scammed and ripped off a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, and so, I mean, that's his. I'm not going to speak on that because that's his that's his business. But long story short, I truly believe that, well, because he started messing around trying to become a part of this and co-opted in 2015. And I believe when he started doing things and messing around, that maybe some people might have reached out to him and said, hey, I mean, I don't know. I've never spoke to Thomas, Lestat. I've never spoke to him directly or indirectly, other than seeing him on some of the, YouTube live streams here recently in the past couple months. But so for me, I mean, I really don't know, but I'm really not sure, man. I mean, there's a couple different possibilities, but like I said, I know that at one time, have a lot of connections, man. And he knew a lot of people that knew other people, and there's, at the end of the day, there's, it's really not what you know. In this life, it's who you know, because what you know will help you find that door, but who you know will open it for you.
Yes,
And so, I mean, and it sucks because, I mean, it really should be what you know, what not who you know, but that's a whole different.
Yeah, but that's the
different realm.
Real world, right? That's the real world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it, I am aware that in some case, Thomas did gotten secrets or little hints here and there, like an example of the Liber Primus thing, that he kind of got the idea how to solve it, but not he can't solve it.
Yeah.
And those kind of things, I really think that he leached from the Facebook groups, from the IRCs, and even who knows who else that he engaged that was maybe closer to the answer, and at the end realize who this guy was. Now, in a way that is in, the how can you, what would you say to the people that are still following, or that are still like interested in a way in Cicada?
Well, I would definitely tell anybody that's still interested in it, that the idea and the ideology behind this and the movement was never for monetary gain. It was always about trying to find like-minded individuals that have a certain set of skills, because the reason why you need these certain set of skills is because what's trying to be worked on, and what's trying to be worked on is, encryption software and anonymity software and ways to better protect, mass communications and projects on trying to net free, in a sense. And I mean, these are skills that require certain people that have skills. And so, that's why these puzzles were initially put together, was to try to find, these skills. And you know, so to be able to find these people, you have to craft and create certain things that will attract those certain kind of individuals that have those certain, you know, set task of skills. And so so what I'm getting at is that this was never meant or originally created to be a Hollywood movie or to be you know a TV series or to be monetized. This is it's an idea. It's a movement. It's an idea that says that all people have a right to privacy and that all people have a right to access of information, because we all know that, you know, information is power, but not only is it power, information is empowerment, because it empowers the individual that gains that knowledge. And so, and this is what any state agency or any acting government, you know, nation states, you know, naturally they don't like this. You have to control the narrative, because if you can control the narrative, then you can control the consciousness and the flow of information to the people. You know, and so we understand this. So I just want people to know that it's not it's not an ARG in the sense that it's going to eventually be a movie, you know, in 7-8 years. Like, it was never created for that. So if you like the ideals and the set behind CICADA 3301, then by all means, you know, if you want to start from the beginning and solve the puzzles, do that. But I just want to let you know that that after 2014, you're not gonna, official CICADA 3301 puzzles, because there's just no PGP signed message with it, and so naturally, it's not a real puzzle.
It becomes a death trap. It becomes a death trap
for sure.
The
people behind the other puzzles that come after that, a lot of hidden motives and agendas. So I mean, it's.
And how do you feel about this turning it into some political movement?
Yeah, it should. And see, this is what we've talked about before, man. Is that when you have an organization, like for example, let's say Anonymous, right? And because you can compare it to Anonymous, when you have an organization that does not really have one or two set individuals that interacts with the media and that can say, hey, this is who we are, we're behind this, then anybody can come out of the woodworks and say, hey, I'm part of this group, or I speak for this group. And so after, no more puzzles and no messages were released, by 2015 going into 2016, we started to have a lot of people co-opting this idea. So to see it turn into a political thing does not surprise me one bit. Because people, anybody that's on the internet, that's been on there for a couple of years, knows about CICADA, and they know about the lore and the mystery of it. And a lot of people think that it's affiliated with the government or inside things and stuff like this, and which it is not. I mean, is there individuals that could have been a part of it, or maybe a part of it, that could have had certain jobs that worked in certain facets of or something? Yes, that's very possible. But is CICADA on like a government's payroll? No, like it's nothing like that. Like, there's other people that have tried to say that it's part of the NSA because of a PDF that they found that has CICADA in it, and I did a video on that, and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with actual timing, trying to be able to embed devices that can instantaneously with one another without actually sending out a signal that could be intercepted by an enemy. Like that's really, it's very similar to how CICADA's synchronized, and they have a synchronicity. They all are able to emerge at one given time without saying, hey, it's time to emerge. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's no connection to that.
I mean, what would be it's well known that it has its roots in the cyberpunk community, if you want to call it like that, or movement. You care to explain a little bit about what cyberpunk is, just as I guess you know it better than I do.
Yeah, no worries. Became a big term really in the 90s once I mean, because before that you had phone freakers, like people that would mess with phones, and they could hack phones and make free long distance calls or listen into the call centers, stuff like that. But the real term, cyberpunk, that really originated in the late '80s, going into the early '90s, and really what that term means is somebody who to use technology as, I don't want to say a weapon, but as a means of their message or their point across. And it's kind of like your body has a right to information and has a right to access, these things, regardless of where you live, what country you're in. And so that's really what a crypto anarchist is, man, is somebody who believes in encryption. They believe in protecting themselves, and they also believe that information should be free. And that's really what a cyberpunk has really been turned into. What you would call, this is what's more of like a modern term that people are using now. But it's the same thing. It's just people that, and it really originated because a lot of people back then were programming, and they were doing things in the basement, putting together stuff. So I mean, it's kind of, somebody who's punking around, who's putting stuff together, but really the idea behind being a cyberpunk, or being, an anarchist, a crypto anarchist, is just somebody who believes in the protection of freedom to the mass of people, and that believes that people should have a right to privacy, and flow of information should be free and should remain free. And those are the main ideals. And that, hey, that this technology that us, is a double-edged sword, because it can be harnessed and used in the same way that they're using it against individuals. It can turn around and be used against them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the cyberpunk, kind of it. The cyberpunk would, his ideas, or what he would say he would probably believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Not really religious. See, I'm not. Excuse me, I don't mean to say religious. I don't really want to get into religion too much, but like political. Like most people that are cyberpunks or crypto anarchists. A lot of them are really not too political. A lot of them are more like libertarian. They're not really democratic. They're not really Republican. They're more constitutionalist a little bit, and they're more Bill of Rights, believe in your freedoms, stuff like that. But you do have some that are a little more lean to the left. I mean, it just, individuals are different.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's because I'm asking you this because I find it really funny when I saw the CNN documentary of Cicada 3301 and see, Knox Papuli, Brotherbox, and Marcus as being some as being the forefront of Cicada. I just find it's so funny, man. It was yeah. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I mean, I definitely that it was done very well. I have to say that they did do a good job, at least documenting, and doing a thorough, of over the past years and stuff like that. But at the same time, yes, I agree with you. I think the reason why is because their names are just more known in the public, and then you have Brother Box, who runs the wiki, and you have Knox, who's been in the public a couple of times. So it's kind of natural for them to documentary to be put together that involves those individuals. I don't. It definitely didn't surprise me to see it. But I will agree with what a lot of other people have said, is with Marcus, with the interview that he did with magazine, and then some of the stuff that he said. The stuff he said hasn't really quite lined up, but I mean that's for a whole nother.
Oh, what the interview he did over at Rolling Stone?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I do have my reserves about it, but he's now the holder of the trademark.
Yeah,
That's
he's had it for a while now, and so sure how he managed to wrestle that from Beth. Beth supposedly gave it to him,
Oh,
free will. So I mean, I don't, I really don't know,
yeah,
man.
it was something that I actually wanted to bring out because like when I heard about what happened, it was like uh, uh because I remember that you have way more credentials, and that's not even important. What's relevant, I guess, and that it's important to put out is that that trademark is basically kind of like a curse. At this point, it's I even kind of worried, about what's going to happen to to Marcus, because if I understand he's someone that has been separate from all this, and I like a. It was very hard to accept and to come into terms of what happened. But oh, it's raining. Nice. But if you like when once I thought about it, the emotional pressure for so long, to be the target, of because that trademark it's worth a lot of money, on the wrong hands, and this people, these grifters, that surround us, that know that are actively after it, and trying to put their name on it. Of course, that they would, if they troll us, if they troll me or troll any other they would devastate the person that actually we hold it. That's why I even I felt when I knew that guy got it, really hit me hard. But afterwards, it came a process of really growing up, of in letting go of something that wasn't even mine in the first place, of accepting that it was the best for that person to just it's understandable. I would have wished many things that would have been different, but my wishes are well, nobody really. Well, my wishes, what, and I actually wanted to ask, talk to you, and say that I was sorry, because I at one point I remember telling you that, well, all of them, let me talk to her, and so on. So many things happened afterwards so fast. uh I I was angry at, even I'm still kind of angry at Brother Box. uh but what I really don't wouldn't like is to people to blame Fox or anything for what she hold on to it longer than anyone would have expected. And I always felt like I was against time. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
it was either that they would break her emotionally, or that eventually she would give it to her, as as to leave me alone, because I was there. I've seen it. We've been worried because of the reactions of this come. So I really I see some people angry, uh, not only at her, but maybe more at the person holding it right now, or their stuff. Oh man, it's raining really heavily. But anyway, but yeah, give me a second. I have to close the window.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, you can talk in the meantime, or maybe, yeah, I'll put
Sure,
something.
sure. I can definitely. But for the chat listening, I didn't get a chance to really introduce myself. But I go by Ghost3301. And I'm on YouTube under Dustin757. And about I came out even inside into the original Cicada 3301 group. I did an in-depth interview with Lestat, but I also did a sequential, very very in-depth interview with a a political historian and a political scientist. He's an author and he's a writer. His name is Esteban, and his website is the sam.com, or you can just look up gHOST3301 interview. But Lestat's interviews there, where he talks about CICADA for the time that he was there. I give my inside the time that I was there from 2011 to 2015. And then DeFango, there's an interview of DeFango's that's going to be posted on that website also. Esteban is putting together, it's like at 80,000 words. So he's transcripting it, so it takes a while to type all this information out and that together. And once that's done, that'll be posted on that website too. I know he also interviewed Thomas Schoenberger personally a couple weeks ago. He has that interview waiting to be released. Interviewed Z3301, the same guy that supposedly Titus Frost interviewed. Well, I have emails right now what we're saying. So we have interviewed him, and Esteban has talked to him and has certain things on file, and that's going to be released when Thomas's files are released on that same website. To give an update, if Pat wants to post a website, you can. I don't. He probably has it on his. Post the Discord if you want to transfer it over. Esteban, yeah, he's definitely a very, very interesting character. He was Lestat, DeFango, myself, Thomas, and Z, Richard. Interviewed quite a few people. Definitely a very interesting guy. He's an author. He's a writer. He was also in the Special Forces. He was also part of the DEA. He's definitely an interesting individual that's writing and keeping a record of all this. Hey, look, I posted Esteban's website where I was telling viewers that your interviews there and that DeFangos will be there published here pretty soon, and that he actually interviewed Thomas, and he interviewed Z3301, the same Z that supposedly Titus Frost interviewed. And know that or not? Yeah, but there's some things I need to share with you, but I'm gonna have to do it off air. It's on hold a little bit just for a few weeks because of some things that's transpired. But DeFango's interviews at like 80,000 words, so it's just it's gonna be released soon. But it's just a lot to transcribe. He also he also got an in-depth interview from Thomas. Over like a 3 or 4 day period. So talked to Richard. Talked to I also talked to Mr. Levine. He's made contact with quite a few. Some of these individuals I'm mentioning didn't want to be on record. Else to verify this, and then Z3301 actually did an in-depth and gave him a lot of information. So I'm kind of interested to see what Titus says about the information that Z supposedly gave to him, because we've got actual emails. We've got actual emails from the Z email account that for the past 6-7 years, and verifying it's him, and things. So, but like I said, that hasn't been publicly released yet. That's waiting on Esteban to get done putting all that together, and then to publicly release it on that website. But the website, I have posted it on the Discord, it into chat. I try to make it a little easier for you.
Okay, let me check. Oh yeah, we were actually watching it while we were talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were watching the website, but let me paste it on the chat again. Did you already paste it?
No, I haven't pasted it yet, but I was explaining to, like I said, I'll explain to the viewers that if they want to go to this website, this is where you'll get a lot more in-depth information, and and my interviews there, and quite a few other people's is going to be posted there here in the very near future with Esteban. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.